Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Um, I thought we'd be further along with this at this point, but here we are. We're finally continuing our MCU discussions with Iron Man 2. We decided to skip the Incredible Hulk because it was pretty boring.
Super fucking boring.
Yeah, I mean it's fine to watch. It's just like, yeah, it could have been better.
Uh,
I don't
uh,
hate it. It's just, yeah, I still watch it occasionally when I go rewatch, the movies.
yeah.
Um, But again, not a favorite. It's kind of still pretty low on the Phase One like tier list. However, it's not the lowest, and that is Iron Man 2. So I'm just gonna start with my. I got a lot of notes here. So Venko's villain motivate can't speak. Venko's villain motivation is the worst. I'm gonna kill you because your dad fired my dad for illegally selling weapons. It's like, this does not make sense. Let's see. Tony's speech at the Stark Expo at the opening, pretty good. That's one of the positive things I can say about it. How about you? Anything?
Actually saw this movie in theaters when it came out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I remember Mickey Rourke being a really big part, like really big selling point of the movie because Mickey Rourke was people liked him back then.
Hmm.
Not so much now, but back then he was hot. Acting wise, he kind of looks like a leather bag, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. What happened? Did he just like be in a bunch of crappy movies or something?
Well, that and he's just kind of a dick. He's one of
Oh,
those guys where it's like his personality versus his acting. It's like his personality outweighs the acting.
okay. I've literally only seen him in this
He's a
and
decent actor. He
like
did some good roles.
like maybe one or two movies, but like I don't remember which ones. But all
But
right.
yeah, he's a good actor. He does some good shit. But yeah, he's kind of washed up now. If we're talking in terms of like his career.
All right. So let's see. I find Justin Hammer is just really annoying, badly written. Like, there was actually, I'm pretty sure there was a Justin Hammer in the Iron Man 1 video game because like they made a tie-in game and there was what they did. They actually had Whiplash in that as well, which made no sense when they made the second game. But like they just didn't care about continuity with those games.
Hmm.
Um, he was he was kind of just generic, boss. I don't know if he was actually an actual boss or if he just like pops on the radio or something and just annoys you, but he was a little more enjoyable in that game. Here he's just completely obnoxious at every turn. And there'll be a lot more as I go on with that.
Yeah, they use his character in this. Hell, honestly, the whole entire like feel of Iron Man 2 is a little more comedic than the first one. Not the first one wasn't devoid of comedy or anything. It's just like the second movie, it's like pretty much every scene's got a bit or like some sort of
Yeah,
thing.
which I don't entirely mind it when it's like involving Tony because he's a pain in the ass all the time, and that's
Hmm.
the point. But it's just like, yeah, it's like Justin Hammer thinks he's like fucking hilarious or something, and it's just irritating. And it's like I don't want to be irritated at the villain. I want to like hate the villain, but at the same time, kind of like him a little bit. Like Loki's a good example. Loki's terrible, but you love to watch anything he does.
Hmm.
So in the opening, in an ironic twist of fate, um, the reactor that Stark made in the first movie is slowly killing him with palladium poisoning. Because we have that little plot device where he pulls out the thing and like checks his blood, and it's like, oh, it's this much toxicity. And it's like, I have to point something out here. Um, I don't know exactly if it's like the palladium is something in the power core. I think that's what it is, or if it's something else. Because if it's something else, like why doesn't he just, when he's not using the suit, just hook up to a car battery like he did in the first movie, and then it wouldn't be bothering him. And then he'd only have to use it like when he absolutely needs it until he found something better. But no, he continues to use the thing that's just slowly killing him,
Yeah.
and just like, oh, I give up.
And then we have that bit with Justin Hammer and the bird with Whiplash. I really
Yeah,
didn't.
that's
I thought that was gonna go like I thought that was gonna be like he was saying something in Russian or something, but no, it was literally just a bird.
yeah,
The entire scene felt really unnecessary.
yeah. I want my board. Stupid. Yeah, I'll get back to that. We do get our introduction to Natasha Romanoff. She's undercover as Natalie Rushman, which that's a horrible code name. You might as well just use your real name. It's dumb. I know that it was probably that might have been a comic thing, but I still say like even that it's dumb. It's like the name should not be like the Americanized version of your name. I did love Happy tries to give her boxing tips, and for whatever reason, and she just completely obliterated them. That was funny. That was a good moment. Elon Musk is in this movie for some reason.
For some reason.
Yeah, a full like I think this was 20. I think it was 2010, 2011 when this came out. So 13 to whatever years before the destruction of Twitter.
Oh yes, that makes it. This episode, we're recording this episode like a couple days after Twitter turned into X. Maybe two
which
to
is
3 days.
funny. Which is funny because for me it still shows as Twitter.
Yeah, same.
Like it's not even changed yet. On desktop it's changed, but on my phone it's still Twitter. Nothing.
hmm
The only indication of X is when you go in the App Store and it says it's developed by X Corp, which is like the, we literally have LexCorp in DC Comics. You just took two letters off of it.
Yeah,
Like
it's like if.
what next? Is he gonna shave his head? Whoop,
Whoa.
whoops! I grabbed a Bifrost. How do I get back? There we go. All right, let's see. All right, so again with the blood toxicity thing, so it starts at 19%. When he checks it the second time, it's at 24%, and then by the time he gets to the Monaco race, 1 day later, it's 57%. Like, why is it just
Damn.
accelerating so rapidly? And it's like, yeah, it makes no sense. And speaking of things not making sense, how Stark decides to fill in for his driver because for whatever reason, somehow Venko knows this was going to happen and is already planning to attack Stark on the course. So I'm like, what was his plan otherwise? Just attack random drivers and hope he would show up in an Iron Man suit?
It's a good
Because I
plan.
mean that would work, but like yeah. Um, while it's only used for this one sequence, and the only other time we see it is in Iron Man 3 as it's like blown up, the Mark V armor, which is the suitcase suit. It's a cool one. It's a cool concept. It's like kind of stripped down. It doesn't have as many features, but it's still pretty neat.
Yeah. For its purpose, it's just like a suitcase armor. So I guess
Yes.
it being stripped down makes sense.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of like he doesn't have the suit on him, but he has that, and then. So wait, they
Yeah.
destroy it in the third movie?
Yeah. So like it got pretty damaged in this one. I guess he repaired it. You do see it in the third movie because there's that bit when his house gets attacked and it just all the suits start exploding for some reason because a missile hit. I don't know why. that was honestly kind of dumb. But yeah, we'll get to that when we get to the third one. We got to try to start watching these movies and try to get through this
Yeah.
a bit more. So I do like the line once they've arrested Benko and everything, and got him in prison, and Stark visits him. He says the line, "If you can make God bleed, the people will cease to believe in him, and there'll be blood in the water, and the sharks will come." Like that's that's a pretty good line. It is kind of menacing and is well done.
Hmm.
Um, and then Benko's broken out of prison by explosive potatoes.
Genius.
Yeah. Um, turns out it was Hammer who wanted him to help build some Iron Man suits. Well, because he like saw him at the racetrack doing all that stuff. So yeah, he brings him over and he's like talking to him. The business proposal scene is so dumb, and I skip it every time because I just it just makes me want to come into the movie and punch Hammer in the face because it just so irritating. Uh, Again, a little bit later, he takes him to his like facility where he's like going to be working, and the encrypted passcodes line where he's like, "Oh, Jack, let's get some encrypted passcodes. Let's generate some encrypted passcodes. Make sure we get some encrypted passcodes." Like that's something like that. And it's like, shut up. It's that line is just written so bad. I don't blame the actor. I got nothing with the actor. He was in The Green Mile. All right, we had a little bit of technical difficulties for a minute there. But I was talking about the encrypted passcodes thing was really stupid. Nothing against the actor, like I said, he was great in The Green Mile because he played the that really crazy guy.
Hmm.
So nothing on him. It's just the writing of the character. It's like there is no need to make like how is he this rival weapons thing, but he's like so genuinely stupid. Like it just frustrates me.
Yeah. The character's more played for like comedic relief than anything.
Yeah, which is it's fine. Like they have some characters in the MCU that are comedic relief and they work fine. But yeah, he was not to be one of them. Like not to say you can't have jokes, but it's just like sometimes you just don't turn a character into comedic relief.
Hmm.
Um, all right, so next we have a kind of pointless thing. I mean, not really pointless. Not the word I'm looking for. The Rock'em Sock'em Robot scene, as I call it, where first somehow Rhodey was able to just put an Iron Man suit on without, you know, somehow magically bypassing stuff. Because Tony was drunk in his current suit. So it was the Mark II suit versus the Mark IV, actually, because the suitcase suit is the Mark V. Mark IV replaced the Mark III because that one got trashed at the end of Iron Man. Yeah, so they fight, and then he just kind of takes off, and it's like like they literally point out like he would have had so many protocols, so it's kind of like I guess Tony just let him do it. It's just kind of dumb. We get a Hammer checks up on progress over with Venko. Um, he finds instead of making suits, he's making drones, and he's like, instead of just because he notices this and just being like, "Why are you making drones?" He's like, "Hey Jack," which Jack is like his assistant slash like top security guy or whatever. Takes one of the spare drone heads, like try to put this on like it's a fucking helmet, and he just stupidly just keeps like banging it against his head. Like it's not a helmet, you dipshit. Like it's not even funny. It's just dumb. All right. Here's a cool thing. The Going through the old files from his dad, he finds trying to figure out the missing element he needs. There
Mm.
is a Easter egg hidden among the paperwork that teases the Tesseract,
Oh, really?
which, yeah, it just
That's
it's kind of
cool.
like a schematic drawing of it. At the time, everyone thought it was going to be a different thing in the comics called the Cosmic Cube, which the Tesseract is kind of. It feels like it's just kind of like trying to blend those two together for the MCU. Um, and also, he finds that the key for this whole thing is hidden in the model for the 70s Stark Expo, which happens to be back at his office, his former office, because at this point he's made Pepper run the company. And he gets it, makes a digital projection of the model, deletes 70% of it, and then mashes the rest together, and voila, he somehow
Invents a new element.
it makes no damn sense. It'd be better if it was like by assembling certain parts, it like literally just had like a mathematical equation or something that was like told him everything he needed.
Hmm.
But no, it's just like let me just delete this, just slap it all together, and it create. It's no, that's not how that works. And I'm not one to talk. I don't know how that stuff works, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. You don't just slap parts together and boom, there's a new element. It doesn't make sense. Um, all right. And then the even more bullshit part is like he gets the new reactor and then swaps it out, and it just the whole time in this movie he's been like he's got these veins coming out from the old one, and it's like the poison being shown that it's taking effect. He pops the new one in, and it all just retracts, and he's healed instantly. Like again, not how it works. You're still poisoned. It's
Mm.
not. It just that pissed me off. All right, I gotta scroll down once again. I'm like, let's see. All right. Hammer confronts Venko again, who still hasn't delivered functional drones and takes away his board, pillows, and shoes. But yeah, you're real tough there. It's hitting him where it hurts, I guess. Venko then literally kills these guards like they're nothing. Calls Stark, and that's when he puts the new reactor in as it's finished.
Hmm.
Um, Next thing is the presentation at the Stark Expo. Venko does this stupid little dance, and he thinks he's hilarious for saying like, "Oh, this the press they're about to run out of ink." Like that joke didn't even land or make sense when this came out because like everything's digital now. Like they don't need to run out of ink; it's digital. That joke would have made sense like 50 years ago. Um, Also, yeah, nobody in the audience even claps because it's not funny. I'm almost convinced that wasn't scripted. They wanted everyone to do that, but the extras just didn't think it was funny, so they're like, "Shit, we gotta leave this in the movie." I don't know. Um, he tries to deal with the situation after Venko like starts sending all the drones, making
Hmm.
them all active and doing what he wants. Call their phones. I'm assuming the guards or something. All phones are down. Well, then call their cells. It's like, buddy, everything's down. That's what he said. Like, this is another thing that shows him how fucking idiotic he is in this thing. Um, there is a kind of cool sequence. I don't like how it's filmed, but we get to see Natasha's Black Widow. She kicks a bunch of ass at Hammer Industries. It's funny how like she takes out everybody while Happy only beats up one guy, and
Yeah.
he's like proud of beating up that one guy and looks over and it's like all these guys are just like wasted on the floor and one guy's like hanging by his neck trying to fight, and she just like effortlessly took all these guys out.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just don't like some of the shots. How like the way it's filmed. It's like I can't see what's going on.
Mhm.
Um, and Rhodey and Tony team up against the drones after like Rhodey's suit gets like given control back. It's badass, but it's still dumb nonsense. They're just fighting a bunch of robots. It's yeah. The ex-wife missile joke is so dumb because he's like, I'm gonna go bust his bunker with the ex-wife. It pops up, it shoots, it just bounces off of him and malfunctions. It's yeah, it's stupid. And then the repulsor singularity move where they shoot it at each other because they did it during their fight earlier, and it just
Yeah.
creates an explosion. That's such a video game QTE moment.
It really is.
Yeah. So yeah, then the drones are all rigged to blow. Even Venko rigs like the reactor in his chest, so he dies. All the drones blow up, but somehow there are zero casualties from this. Nobody
Wow.
died at the entire at all. Not even when they attacked at first. Like that's bullshit. There's no way nobody died. I forgot to write it, but there if you didn't notice, there is a kid that Tony lands in front of. Like there's a drone coming towards him, and he's got like a little. It's the actual real toy they released at the time. It's an Iron Man helmet and like a little repulsor glove, and a drone like walks up to him and it's about to attack him because it looks enough like Tony's armor, how it's been programmed in for it to attack. And he lands in front of it and like destroys the drone and like says something like "Good job, kid," and flies off. They actually
Mm.
retcon that kid to be a young Peter Parker.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool. I didn't know that.
originally it was just some kid, and there was going to be nothing to it. And then they're like, "No, let's just do this for no reason." Uh, but like, all right, cool enough.
That is cool.
Uh, Stark's then denied to be part of the Avengers Initiative because he's just too unstable and whatever. He does, however, get Fury to have the senator from the beginning of the movie, who's like, you gotta give us your armor because we wanna like militarize it and stuff." He gets him to present him and Rhodey with awards, which was funny. It's like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's a big fuck you. And lastly, and this is the only other positive thing I got to say, is Coulson locates Mjolnir in the desert in the post credits to set up for Thor. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I do really just it's whoop. I'm speaking out. It's I don't like the movie. I think it's pretty garbage.
Yeah. You know, despite like all the negative things, I would say it's not the worst. I honestly think that Iron Man 3 is way worse. I think Iron Man 3 is garbage.
All right, that's gonna be it for the Iron Man 2 episode. I threw Venom overboard. You can see this little dot. That's him in the distance. He's dead now. Um, but I'm sure he'll be back for next episode. Right, Venom?
Yeah.
Oh, look, he's already alive. Yeah, we recover that fast. All right. See ya for whatever the next episode is.
Bye. Should I have
Be
spoken
quiet.
at the end?
Be quiet.
Oh,
You're dead.